I think that this is probably one of the most important things that I could tell people today, the way that I see people struggling in things, is that you have people, not you, people have ideas about how things work, right? And you have ideas about little tricks that you can take based on how you've seen other people act. You have expectations of what you can get out of the world. Expectations of what you can get away with, right? Expectations of where you need to do good and how much good you need to do. So none of these things are arbitrary. It's a lot, but it's not arbitrary. And you're operating from scope of your life experiences. Let's say that you spent most of your time in a small town, and this small town really only has like maybe 2 or 3 total cultures present, and you watch TV, but you're really not getting the same thing out of TV that you are when you're actually around people. And so, and TV is kind of delivered in its own scope anyway. It's not reality. It's edited reality. So there's a lot of information actually missing from TV anyway. But then there's, chemical messengers and experiencing life and right here in the moment and present, and a lot of data, that means more than TV anyway. And TV is a part of that. So if you haven't really been outside of this, small town, you're also not evolving the way other people are in densely populated melting pots like Houston and New York. And so let's say that, maybe someone has an idea of a kind of a gimmicky kind of thing they're going to do. And then they're doing it in Houston, right? Well, in Houston, everybody rips that apart, right? You look at what you're doing, maybe it's going to spread through a little network of people for a moment, but then people that know what they're doing come in there and they rip it apart. That spreads and shuts down. But now let's say you have a guy coming from a small town visiting Houston, and he only experiences the gimmicky part. And then he picks up on it, and he goes back to the small town, right? So now he has this idea like, there's this trick that you can do, right? But he's not really using it. He's just something he keeps inside of himself that he thinks is really smart, and it's actually really kind of deceptive and classless, but he just, mesmerized by this big city life or whatever. And so, but he does not really talking about it until, maybe he tells his grandkids about it one day. So this information has never been present in the small town before. Now, this algorithm is getting out there from his grandkids, trying to show off to his grandkids. Look what I learned from a guy in Houston. And now his grandkids, 15 years later, now they're talking about this smart thing, right? And they still have not been challenged. Right? So now he's taking, right, they take it to their high school. They take it, and now it kind of becomes a thing between the kids there. So now you have a large percentage of the population in this small town with their hands on this classless, deceptive behavior, like it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, that is 35 years in the past, and where that actually started. And in the same year when it started, it was ripped apart. So you see, and this is actually what you can find when you go to small towns sometimes. This is actually what you may find. But the thing is, people actually, this is their experiences. This is their life, the way they understand things. They're not going around with additional information, or they wouldn't be doing it. So, so people often have a very childish perspective of how things work and very exalted view of themselves simultaneously. And so now when they actually go out there, they're basically facing people that are so far beyond what they're doing. They're basically at a point where they just kind of want to be charitable to them. That, no, you're not, you think you're going to get away with this, you're not going to get away with that. But there's something else going on in their mind. It's the entire frame of the person, the way they appear, the way they look, the way they're talking. It's just so distant. Well, oftentimes what's going on in their mind is, how do I raise you? Because I feel really, really bad for you. How do I raise you? And they're basically calculating that. So now let's say if you're one of these people, I just gave you the way that more evolved people think. That they're looking at a person and they're seeing their vulnerabilities and they're trying to raise them without telling them, without sounding an alarm, look at what I'm doing for you, having every advantage possible to bring that person up and turn them into someone that can succeed. And that's what I had to say. Thanks.